This is a brief demonstration of site optimizing software that we're using at Haeger Engineering. Site optimizing software is a new technology in the civil engineering field that allows for automated site planning, grading, and cost estimating to be done in a CAD environment at a very early stage of a project, suitable for site evaluation. If you're familiar with BIM in the architectural field, this site optimizing software shares a lot of the same functionality. So to start off with, I've got a 6-acre site on the screen here, a boundary, and topo. I'm going to turn off the topo, the contours there for the sake of clarity, and I'm going to load in the building footprint for an assisted living project that we worked on in the office here recently. And I'm going to situate this building on the property. And you can see it looks, like a typical CAD software program, but it has a lot more functionality, as you will shortly see. Next, I'm going to sketch in a parking area, and I'm going to assume that the owner has told me that he needs like 75 parking spaces here. So when I finish drawing that parking field, the software automatically creates parking spaces within here. And it's creating those parking spaces according to the properties that we have defined over on the side of the screen here. So if we have the parking width set at 9 foot for stalls, if we change that to 10, it's automatically updated over here. If I change the angle of these spaces to 60, it changes the interior parking spaces there. And as I fiddle around with the limits of the parking field, it automatically updates it here. And so you can see this is kind of the power of what if that you can do just in real time here. I'm going to continue on with the site plan. I'm going to draw in a couple of entrance driveways to connect the parking lot to the street on the existing roadway. And I'm going to draw in excuse me, a fire lane. Most projects like this require a fire lane for access around the entire building, and you can see the software draws that in and automatically updates this parking lot. And I said I was shooting for 75 spaces, so I can update this this parking field over here, and the software is automatically changing these driveways and the parking field to match. So I'm going to leave it here at, let's say, 70, and I'm going to continue on with the site plan. At the south end here, I'm going to draw in a small detention area, and again I'm just defining the overall field, and the software will draft everything in on the inside. And similar to the parking lot, this detention area has properties associated with it that we define. I'm going to throw in one other thing. I'm going to say that there is a grove of mature trees out here that we don't want to touch. And I'm just going to define a no grading area. And so I've got a site plan here, that took a couple minutes to produce, and it shows that this building and the parking counts and everything is feasible. But I'm going to take it to the next step, which is grading. And before I do that, I'm going to change the properties of this building to give it some height so it'll stand out. And I'm going to launch the grading solver. And you can see here what it's doing. The blue is fill and the red is cut, and it's grading the site. And so you can see there are numbers running in the corner here. It's doing an earthwork plan, a cut fill, and we have the properties associated with those values. We have unit costs associated with them. And so it's iterating grading plans for this site, and it's trying to get the lowest site improvement cost here. If I turn on the boundaries and contours here, you can see this is the building and the detention area on the south here. and it's tweaking these contours as it's doing these little iterations. And so the properties that I was talking about, the parking lot has the minimum and maximum slopes associated with it, as does this road, as does the pond. And it's using all those variables to establish a grading plan. And it's taking the unit costs we've put in for site clearing, cut and fill, retaining wall, paving, curb, sidewalk, all of these items to generate a minimum site cost there, which is finished now at $270,000. So from the software, from here, we can bring this into CAD to continue on. We can export a site cost estimate that has dozens of the fields that it's automatically calculated with our unit prices. And we can bring into the CAD environment here the proposed grading plan. And you can see I've got a warning up at the top here. It's telling me that the grading is not feasible, and so I've got some slopes here that it's not liking, and it threw a retaining wall in there for me to address that. And so and then in this grading area, it didn't do any grading within, let me show you this tree clearing area here. And so we defined that, it respected that, and didn't touch any of the grading there. So I have a grading plan that respects that, that respects all of the slopes associated with it, and most importantly, I have costs associated with all of this, which is all done in a matter of minutes. And so this is just a quick demonstration of what we can do. We'd love to give you a demonstration of the software in person. It has a lot more functionality than I fit in here. And especially if you have a site that you think could benefit from this, we'd love to just do a demonstration for you to show you how we can work it on your site, and we'd be happy to do that.